So we learned last time we learned the organization of plant tissue and growth, right? Where we learned the plant tissue and all of it function and the characteristic. Don't forget, just a recap. This is how it looks like. And if you were to the question asks you, right, you use the diagram to help you in answering the question. Okay. So if you want to know more, you can watch the other video. For chapter 2, today we're going to cover chapter 2. Chapter 2 is also very easy, right? Very easy. And you have to understand chapter 2, right, is the leaf structure and function, right? Leaf structure and function. First of all, before we cover this topic, before we start on this covering this topic, right, you have to focus on one thing here, photosynthesis. Okay, just put this in your brain. Okay, just put this in your brain. Why? Because leaf. What is the function of leaf? Photosynthesis. What is the structure of it? Will have chlorophyll, chloroplast. Think we already finished most of the chapter already. And today, tada, that's all we have to do today. Nah, joking lah, joking. Joking. Of course, there's more in-depth explanation lah. But you have to think of photosynthesis all the time, okay? All the time. Now, if you were to look at the diagram here, right? This is what a leaf look like. Just in case you never touch grass outside lah, right? This is what leaf look like. All you need to know, right? They sometimes ask why is the you have to label the diagram. All you need to know is the lamina and the petiole. Where is it located at? That's all. They all like sometimes ask, right? So lamina is the this one here, right? This thing here. And they like to ask you what is the adaptability. What is the function? Okay, function. And this function you can use anywhere, anywhere, and common sense as well. So think of think of photosynthesis, right? I just said photosynthesis, right? So they ask you what is the function of lamina, okay, lamina. So lamina, where's lamina? Lamina is the thing here, this thing here, right? Lamina is the top, not the top lah, right? But the sheet lah, right? So how does it adapt so that it can do a better photosynthesis? First of all, look at lamina. It look flat, right? So it increase surface area. Okay. Second of all, it is thin. For why? To gas diffusion. Why need to gas? Because you need CO2. Remember photosynthesis, right? Lastly, petiole. They ask you, what is the adaptability to petiole? Petiole. What is petiole like? Network of middle vein or network of vein, lah, right? You can think of vein, right? So, so far, right? You probably don't think, right? Ayo, there's so many information to remember, lah, right? But if you study Form 4, right, they always ask you what is the characteristic of for example your bronchiole, right, and also your alveolus, right? What is your characteristic? First of all, is increasing surface area. Second of all, it is thin. Third of all, they have network. See, you can use the same answer here. So this should be like your habit here. This should be your first answer. Okay, this should be your answer. Now let's move on to the topic here, right? The topic here. Now, if you look to cut this leaf here, right, into a cross section, right? This is a cross section of lamina. Okay, if you were to cut it. And from last time, right? Last time I explained, right? Leaf, right? The leaf have cuticle on top. Cuticle on top. Okay, cuticle on top. And cuticle. Where is cuticle coming from? After the epidermal cell differentiate. Okay, so after it differentiate, it become cuticle. Okay, and cuticle, the top part, very top lah, right? That is very waxy, very waxy, meaning very shiny. And if it's shiny, it is waterproof. Okay, waterproof. Okay. Now, if you were to look at this diagram, okay, look at this diagram. Just now we covered cuticle. Cuticle, that's all you need to know. It's waterproof. Okay. Now, there's a lot of information here, right? There's a lot of information here, right? But all you need to know is to think of photosynthesis again. I keep on mentioning it, right? But it's photosynthesis again. Now, photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis, right, is when you have CO2, right? And sunlight, right? Sunlight. And also water, lah, right? You produce glucose, right? Glucose. And also oxygen. Okay, and also some water as well. Now that means, right? That means what we need in the plant cell, right? Why the plant cell is structured like this, right? It's because they can do the photosynthesis effectively. So they need carbon dioxide and also water and also sunlight, right? So we are going to think of the three reactant here. We need those three here. Okay, so let's look using common sense. First of all, I just said, right, this top layer is waxy, right, waterproof, right? So there's not going to be water. Okay, there's not going to be water. Now, second of all, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide can actually enter through the bottom part. Okay, the bottom part. Yeah, it can enter, actually it can enter to this part as well, and also the top part as well. Yeah, diffuse. So carbon dioxide, it can enter to the two side of the leaf. Okay, and why it need to enter? Because we need the carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis, right? So the function of this thing here, right, the function of this structure here, later on you're going to have to explain what they contain, so that you can do the photosynthesis. So just now I said carbon dioxide, right? It can enter to this one, right? It can enter to this one. Okay, if we enter to that one, right? Palisade mesophyll will be the first thing that he will see. Palisade mesophyll, all you need to know, right? Palisade mesophyll, right? It has chlorophyll. Okay, it has chlorophyll. Okay, palisade mesophyll contains chlorophyll. Look here, chloroplast and chlorophyll, both lah, right? It contains chloroplast because chloroplast also contain chlorophyll. That's why I say chlorophyll lah. But later on, you're gonna think you're gonna see why I said chlorophyll. Anyway, palisade mesophyll, it contains chlorophyll. So why? Because chlorophyll is for what? Sunlight. See, I told you, think of the photosynthesis. So this one contains chlorophyll. Spongy. Spongy. Look here, this is the thing, right? The spongy here. You can also use the same thing here. So now imagine it goes deeper. Okay, it go deeper. What goes deeper? You of course lah. The sunlight also can penetrate, So this one also can sunlight and also carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide. Oh, sorry. My fault lah, my fault. Carbon dioxide cannot enter actually. Carbon dioxide cannot enter from the top. I was correct lah. It's only on the bottom. The only thing that can enter from the top, right? All you need to know, right, is sunlight. Okay, sunlight. Why? First of all, this waterproof, right? This is waterproof, right? So already there's no water. Okay. Second of all, this one is thick enough. The wall is thick enough, right? It's not one cell thick, right? So that carbon dioxide cannot diffuse through it, cannot enter it. So that's why only sunlight can enter. Okay, sunlight can enter. So sunlight will enter for what? To undergo photosynthesis again lah. Common sense, alright? Common sense. And if you look at this, the way I draw this diagram, right? Palisade mesophyll, it looks like a, what is it? To say it simply, it looks like a teeth, right? Look at the teeth, right? This is how you use the diagram to answer the question. How? The question asks, explain the structure of palisade mesophyll. So first of all, just look at the diagram, right? See, think to yourself. Okay, first of all, it is closely packed. The palisade mesophyll is closely packed. Okay, that is the key word here. Closely packed. And second of all, it is arranged vertically. Vertically. Look, this one, right? It's actually like a long thing here. It didn't arrange like this. It didn't arrange like this. It arranged like this. Why? Why? First of all, use common sense. And whenever you mention photosynthesis, right? Why is the adaptability, right? Always mention. There's the few answer that you can answer. First, surface area. Second, network. Okay, network. Okay. Third, thin. Okay, this is the three key answer that you can answer whenever they ask you question of the why. Yeah. Why is palisade mesophyll arranged like this? See here. Let me test you. Why is palisade mesophyll arranged like this? Arranged closely and also like arranged vertically. Why? Because first, to increase surface area. Right. To increase surface area. See, you can use this one here. And then you already get 1 marks. Very easy, right? And spongy mesophyll. Spongy mesophyll, right? You can see here the way I draw this, right? I draw it, right? And there's space in between them. Space in between them, right? Why? Later on, what we need here? We need sunlight. Yes, we do need sunlight, right? We need water as well, right? We need water as well, right? But we already got water. Just now I said we don't get water, right? Just now I said. So What do I mean by we already got water? Hmm. Common sense. Common sense. Yes, correct. A tree, the root. Remember the root? The root has xylem. It will take the xylem and transfer it to the leaf. That's why we already have water. Technically we do have water, but it's just that the leaf will not have will not be able to get water. Okay, that's all. Now we need carbon dioxide. We need carbon dioxide, right? So where can we get the carbon dioxide? From the air, lah, right? From the air. Do you think we're gonna get from the root? No, lah, right? The only way for we to get the carbon dioxide is to the leaf. So just now I said sunlight can enter to the top. So where's the leftover area? The bottom. The bottom. So the bottom, the carbon dioxide will actually enter to the bottom. So yeah, my handwriting bad. So how? How it enter to the bottom? So first of all, you can see there's a opening here, right? There's an opening here, right? This opening is called stoma. Okay, stoma. Stoma you already learned in primary school. Primary school, right? Stoma looks like this. Stoma look like this. Okay. So stoma look like this, and stoma is guarded by gut cell. Okay, this is gut cell, and the opening here is stoma. Okay, the this thing here is stomata. Don't forget, don't forget. This is stomata. Yes, it looks like yes, yeah, you're correct. It look like two beans cuddling. It look like they are cuddling, right? Yeah. Anyway, so the carbon dioxide will enter to this part here, to this compartment here, right? To this compartment. First of all, if you're probably confused, right? Just now I said, of course, this one cannot enter, right? This one cannot enter. Why carbon dioxide cannot enter? Just let me remind you again. You can use this as the hint, right? Carbon dioxide, right? For it to be able to enter, the cell wall, right? The cell wall need to be thin. Need to be thin. Do you think? Do you think this thing is thin? No lah, right? Because why? There's so many layers here. So many layers. Use common sense. There's so many layers here. So that's why carbon dioxide will enter to the bottom. It will enter to the bottom. But it also cannot enter to this part here. See here. This thing here, right? The green color thing, right? Is actually the lower epidermis. The epidermis, right? In case you forgot, epidermis is the outer layer. Is the outer layer of our of the plant cell, right? Outer layer. So it also cannot enter to this part here. So that's why it can only enter to the opening here, which is the stoma here, right? So imagine imagine carbon dioxide enter here. Okay, enter here. Now what does it do? What it help with? So we need carbon dioxide, right? We need carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide will actually go to the spongy mesophil. This is spongy mesophil, right? It will go. It will diffuse into the spongy mesophil. And if you use common sense, right? That is why there is so many air space here. That's why there is so like free. Yeah, it's so free. Because why? The carbon can go around, can diffuse with anything. See, it can go anywhere. So that's why it has a lot of airspace so that it can allow the carbon dioxide to diffuse into the spongy mesophil. So far, understand, right? You understand? Okay. Now, inside the leaf lah, right? We already got the carbon dioxide. We already got the water. We already got the sunlight. Right, sunlight. Now, we also need the xylem and phloem. Why? Common sense. Xylem. What is the function of xylem? Don't forget, the function of xylem is to transport water. Transport water. Okay, transport water. So, and also phloem, transport water. And this one phloem will transport the glucose. I think I forgot lah, but it's something like that, right? So that's why we need these things here, so that we can actually carry the product. See here, see here. This is the product, right? The product. Where the product will go? To the xylem and phloem. See, it's like a machine lah, right? Machine. One thing, right, will produce another thing. And where will the product be? In the xylem and the phloem. And the xylem and the phloem, you can imagine them as a carrier truck. Okay, they will carry the thing from the leaf, right, to all the part of the plant. Okay, so that is the function of phloem and xylem, right? Of course, if the xylem at the bottom, it will carry to the top. Just use reverse lah, reverse, just reverse lah, basically, right? So that is the function. Tada! It's very easy to understand. Very easy. So let me recap lah. Let me recap. So the cuticle is at the top, right? The top layer here. The top layer is cuticle. Cuticle, the function of it, right, is very waxy, right? So what is waxy? Waxy will be very waterproof, and waterproof means there's no water. Okay, so far understand. And then the second layer will be upper epidermis. Okay, upper epidermis. Upper epidermis, the function is to maintain um mechanical support. Yeah, you can like think anything. Actually, they rarely ask it. So that's, you don't need to focus on this one, right? But you need to know is upper epidermis. Now, the bottom layer here, this one here, right? This one here is palisade mesophyll. Palisade mesophyll. Palisade mesophyll, what is the characteristic? Look here, is arranged closely and also vertically. Okay, why? Because they want to increase surface area. Now, spongy mesophyll is at the bottom. And look here, it is arranged loosely. Okay, it is arranged loosely. Why? Because you want to make it so that there's a lot of surface area and also the network, right? So that the carbon dioxide can diffuse. Okay, and then the bottom layer is the lower epidermis. Okay, and there's going to be gut cell and also stoma. Tada! Very simple. Now, because of that, right? Because of that, we have to know how each part work. Okay, we have to know how each part work. Like this one here, right? Like this one here. How does carbon dioxide enter? How? See, you have to think this one, right? It's not always open, right? This one here. It's not always open. Sometimes they close sometimes, they close sometimes. So how do you know that? So you have to understand how the mechanism of gaseous exchange work for the stomata. So now you see here, this is a stomata, right? Stomata here. Right, stomata here. Stomata is located where? Don't forget, the lower epidermis. Okay, epidermis. Now it's located lower epidermis, right? And then later on in chapter 3, you're gonna learn plants, right? And also like any living being, right? They have nutrients in the body, in their body and in their part of the body, right? So you can see here, that's why I put K plus. What is K plus? Potassium. Okay, potassium. There is potassium around the plants. Okay. So imagine this potassium, right? This potassium will go to the gut cell. It will go to the gut cell. Okay, the gut cell. If the potassium go to the gut cell, right? What is the solute potential here? What is the solute potential? There will be more potassium, right? There will be more potassium, right? If there is more potassium than the outside, okay, imagine there is now 1 compared to the 2 inside, right? That means if you use common sense, if there is more solute, there is less water. There is less water. Why? Why do we need to focus on the amount here? Because if there's more solute, there's less water. What will happen? The water will actually go into this one here. Why? This is form for diffusion. Okay. What is actually going on here? The thing that's going on here, right, is trying to reach equilibrium. It's trying to reach equilibrium. What is the meaning of equilibrium? Equilibrium is like the rate of entering is the same as the rate of leaving. So what do I mean? What do I mean? If I were to have a beaker, okay, I'm just going to revise on the form 4, and then I put beaker, right, and then I put a layer here. Okay, this is the membrane. Don't worry, you don't need to know like this is the membrane. Okay, there's water here. There's water here. This is H2, of course, H2O, right? But I add some sugar. Okay, I add some sugar. Okay, this side here, there's only water. Okay, there's only water. So first of all, right, which one do you think will be more hypotonic? Hypotonic. Hypotonic and hypertonic. We learn 2 tonic. Which one will be the more hypotonic? The A or the B? The answer here will be A. In case you forgot, hypotonic mhm, means that it has low solutes, but high water potential. Okay, low solute but high water potential. Now I said this is a hypotonic, right? So if it has low solute, right? Low solute. If you were to draw here, right? This have low solute, okay? And this one have high solute. Why? Because there's sugar here, right? Sugar here. So what will happen actually? The sugar here, right? The particle sugar here, right? They will try to go through the membrane, right? So that it achieve equilibrium. What's the meaning of equilibrium? That means each side here, right? There's the same amount of particle. So one sugar particle will go to the other side. So it become two sugar particle on the left side. So now there's two here and there's two here. So they achieve equilibrium. So you have to understand the concept of it going from high solute concentration to low concentration, and it can also work for water. Okay, water. So just now I said, right, this one have high water, right? High water. So now let's do water now. So they said this have high water, right? This one is low water. Okay, why? Because it's mainly sugar now. This one is mainly sugar, right? Imagine there's five water here, right? There's five water here, and there's only two water here. Okay, there's only three water here. Okay, three water particle. I guess go about water particle. What will happen? They will try to achieve equilibrium. How? They want to make so that each side have the same amount of particle. So this one will go to the other side. How much? It will become one particle only. And tada, look, there's four. There's four. So this one water also achieve equilibrium. So you have to understand it goes from high. The keyword here is high concentration to low concentration. Okay, so far understand, right? So we can also apply it here. We can apply it here. So just now I said, right, the potassium will go inside, right? The potassium will go inside. If the potassium ion were to go inside, right, what would the the gut cell, this is the gut cell, right? The gut cell, solute potential. What is the solute potential for the gut cell? It will be higher lah, right? Higher. We can compare to the outside lah, right? The gut cell will have more of the K plus ion than the outside, right? Now see here, outside only have two. Imagine lah, right? And then the inside have what? Six. So this one have high solutes. And okay, and if they have high solutes, right? High solutes, immediately it automatically that means there will be low water potential. See here, use common sense. If I say there's high water potential, there's low solute. Just use reverse lah, right? Use reverse common sense. Okay, use reverse. So if there's low water potential here, right, what will happen? Remember, all things in life want to achieve equilibrium. So all the water from outside, right, will try to enter in. Why? Because the water potential from the outside, right, is higher than the inside. And remember, how do they achieve equilibrium? The higher water potential will go to the inside water potential. Yeah, why? Why you raise your hand? Okay, never mind. So this will go. Yeah, it's fine. So the water potential from outside is high, right? Is high. So that's why it will go into the gut cell. It will go into the gut cell. And if the gut cell enter, right? Look at the gut cell, right? Look at the difference here. The gut cell, look, it's open. The stoma is open. The inside part here is open. It's open. So why? Because there's water. Remember, water makes something soft. Okay, that sounds weird, lah, right? But water makes something flaccid. Okay, that sounds more weird. But if you want to think logically, lah, right? The water you can think of not turgid. Oh, it will become turgid. It's the opposite. Okay, yeah. Sorry. My fault. If water go inside, it become turgid. Yeah, it become turgid. So that's why, like, yeah. You have to understand the state of it. Just now, right? It was like this, right? It was like this. It was like this, right? And I will like this, right? This is soft. This is flaccid. Okay, this is flaccid. And if it's like this, bigger, A is turgid. Okay, this is turgid. So you have to understand that one. But do you understand so far? It's very easy, right? You have to understand how like the difference of water potential and the solute concentration. That's all. You have to think okay, for you to start here, right? For you just to remember lah, right, how it start, right? All you have to remember, right? The gut cell, sorry, the gut cell, right? The gut cell allow the gut cell have zero, not zero lah, but low solute potential. That's all you need to remember. And then from there you can use common sense, common sense. So the outside will have a lot of K plus ion, okay, potassium ion. So that's why they will enter, and then so on and so on. And then that means the reverse can happen as well, right? The reverse can happen as well for it to become lower. So this one here. Okay. When there's light lah, right? When there's light, right? When sunlight happen lah, right? Sunlight happen. What will happen? What will happen? What will actually happen, right? The carbon dioxide plus water plus sunlight. This is what this is. Of course, photosynthesis lah, right? So it produce glucose, oxygen, and water. Okay. So this is common sense, okay, common sense. But you have to know, right? You have to know if it's at sunlight, okay, if it's at daytime. So the mechanism, right? You have to know there's two part here, right? There's two part. Okay, when there's no light, what will happen? Okay. Second of all, when there is light, what will happen? So if there is light, right? There is light, photosynthesis will happen, right? Right? Photosynthesis happen. So what will you get? You will get sucrose, right? Or also known as glucose, right? And sucrose, right, is a solute, right? Solute. So now imagine the gut cell, right, have a lot of solute. It has a lot of sucrose. Yeah, this color is sucrose now, right? Imagine it has a lot. So what will happen? The same process will happen. That's all you need to know. So what you need to know, right? When it's at night, okay, when it's at night or like not at daytime, right? Daytime. When it's not at daytime, the ion that will be responsible is K plus ion. Okay. When it's at daytime, the ion or like the solute responsible is the sucrose. Okay. And then you can use the exact logic here. Just reverse the answer. That's all. Understand? Now, transpiration. Okay, you already learned transpiration. Alright. Transpiration is the evaporation, except it's for plants. That's all. That's all you need to know, right? So it's a process of water loss in the form of water vapor. Okay, through evaporation from the plants to the atmosphere. Just, okay, the keyword here, right, if you were to answer in the exam, water loss. Okay, process water vapor, form of water vapor. Okay, to evaporation. That's the answer. Now, why do you need transpiration? First of all, for the plants root, right? Plants root, you can actually like make it so that it's absorb water. It absorb water. And second of all, the water, right, absorb heat, right, from the leaf and will evaporate, right? It will give a cooling effect. Common sense. It's like sweat. Our body, right, produce sweat, right? So sweat, the sweat gland, right? The sweat gland, it will produce sweat, right? Sweat. And then the sweat will evaporate. Okay. Evaporate. The evaporate, right, will actually like lower our body temperature. Okay. Lower our body temperature. So that is the function, right? The same function apply here, right? And also it produce a pulling force, pulling force, so that the thing can go lah, can go. Basically lah, for you to understand, right? For you to understand, in roots, right? In roots, right? There is, okay. This is the root tip, right? The root tip. This is the root cap. Later you understand lah how to draw this. So in roots there is like a vessel, right? Vessel for what? The xylem, right? And the phloem, right? Transpiration, right? Transpiration is the form of water loss to evaporation. So that means you can think of it as gravity except opposite. The water, right? The water will actually go to the sun. So think of it as gravity except reverse. You just have to think of water. So that's why it will produce a pulling force. You know why? Because all the water from the ground, right? The ground here, right? It will go upward to the sun. So the water. So that's why it produce a pulling force. That's the meaning of pulling force. That's all. And also the mineral salt and the that one. Now, that one's simple, right? Now the factors affecting the transpiration, right? There's 4 factors that you have to know and memorize, right? First is the light intensity, right? How much light there is, right? Second of all, the relative air humidity. Okay. Third of all is the temperature. And the last one is the air movement. Okay, air movement or wind speed, right? In other words. So let me just explain briefly because this one you just have to memorize the graph, like understand the graph, right? So that it's very easy for you to explain in the answer. So light intensity, right? Light intensity. You can see, right? The more light it has, right? The more light it has, the more it will produce. It will dehydrate. That's all. The more it will evaporate. Right. That's all. Air humidity. Air humidity is the temperature lah. Temperature, but it's not the temperature. So the rate, right? The less air humidity, right? The more it will evaporate actually. Yeah. So that's why it's going down. Okay. I'm not good at this part here. So that's why I'm going fast here, right? Also why? Because water vapor escape faster. Water vapor escape faster. That's why it like going down faster. Okay. Now the temperature of course lah. Temperature related with what? Related with the light intensity. The higher the light intensity, the more temperature as well lah, right? So it's the same thing lah, except different graph here. Okay. You can read in the textbook lah, right? Why? And then this one here, the wind speed. Why? Because wind speed, air carries the H2O. It also carries the H2O. And this one here, if the more temperature is, right, the hotter is, right, the particle for water, right, it will move more faster. The kinetic energy will be higher. And that will mean it will be faster, evaporating faster lah. That's all. Now, the part where people struggles on, right, is the photosynthesis. Now, this one we already learned last time, right? Last time. So let's recap. Let's recap for the adaptation. Adaptation. So let's recap how to draw the cross section of lamina, which is the top part of the leaf, right? So the first layer, right? The first layer will be what? This is known as cuticle. Okay, cuticle. The second layer, right? The second layer, this is known as what? The upper epidermis. Okay. We are gonna revise on this just so that you guys remember. Now the bottom layer, the this one here will be what? Palisade mesophyll. Okay. So this will be palisade mesophyll. Do you need to remember how to spell it? Yes, you need. Yes, it's not that hard though. At least you don't have to remember like yeah, polysaccharide, you know that one. This one is what? Spongy mesophyll. Spongy mesophyll. The name spongy, like that's why it comes from spongy. Look, there's spongy, and then there's the xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem, and then this one is spongy mesophyll. But do we need to include the xylem and phloem? We do lah, but it's not important lah, right? Because this is photosynthesis. Now the bottom part will be what? It's probably yeah. The bottom part will be the lower epidermis. Okay, the lower epidermis. And this part here, the opening, right? This is a gut cell. This is a gut cell as well. Okay. And then the opening here is stoma. And then think photosynthesis. Okay. Photosynthesis. So what is the adaptability? So first of all, the cuticle is waterproof, right? Waterproof. But I forgot to mention one more thing. The cuticle, right? The cuticle, it is not the cuticle, sorry. Cuticle is waterproof, correct lah. It's waterproof. Second of all, upper epidermis, there's one more function that you have to memorize, which is upper epidermis, right? Is transparent. That's all. Transparent. Why? Because you want to allow sunlight to enter, right? Sunlight to enter. So this is transparent. Now, palisade mesophyll. What is the thing here? You can mention the characteristic. It is arranged closely, and also no. It is the thing here. Oh, it is. Sorry, my fault. It's not upper epidermis. It's cuticle. Yeah, cuticle is the transparent one. Sorry. Correct lah. Correct. Wow, I Sorry. So polycyclic mesophyll, it arranged closely, right? Let's look at the diagram, lah, right? And is arranged vertically. So why? To increase surface area. And also polycyclic mesophyll, it contains a lot of chloroplast. Why? Because sunlight. Think of sunlight. Sunlight want to enter, right? Want to enter. So they will be absorbed by the palisade. Spongy as well, right? Contain chloroplast, but not a lot, right? Not a lot. And then the bottom part, that's all. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. This one is the proper way to answer, lah, right? You guys can just study yourself. But I'm here to teach you the basic. Now, the part here, this is a chloroplast. You probably see a chloroplast before, right? But this is the inside of a chloroplast. So chloroplast, they have lamellae and thylakoid and also stroma and granum, right? So just look here. This thing here, a single thing is called thylakoid. Thylakoid. But if you have a lot of them and stack together, it become a granum. Okay, that's all. And then stroma is the liquid here. Is the liquid here. It's also known as is the equivalent, lah, right? Is the equivalent of cytoplasm in animal cell. Is the equivalent. That's all. You have to know is the liquid inside the chloroplast. Of course, chloroplast don't look like this, right? It probably be fully covered. Like it be fully covered. This one I'm just want to look fancy. That's all. Now, light dependent and Kelvin cycle. Okay, Kelvin cycle is not Kelvin, right? This one is there's two meaning, like light independent and also independent. So Kelvin cycle is also known as light independent. Okay. Now, photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. There is two how to say two process that will happen. Yes, two process. The first process is known as light dependent reaction. The second process is known as Kelvin cycle, or also known as light independent. In the textbook for KSSM, I don't think they use Kelvin cycle, but it's light independent. Okay. Now, first of all, it's very complex, right? It's very complex. But you can see here, it's very complex, right? Just look at here. Very complex. First, let me explain this diagram. I know it's very complex. Later, I will show a better diagram, right? Now, the light, okay, the light, we need light, right? From what? The sunlight, right? Will enter the thylakoid. Okay. I forgot to mention. Light dependent is only in the thylakoid. Okay. Thylakoid. And then the light independent is only in the stroma. Okay. Stroma. So all you need to know, right? This is the light dependent and this is the light independent. Okay. So the first thing that will happen, the light will come into the thylakoid, right? And there's also the water, right? From where? From the xylem, right? So this water will actually break down into hydrogen and hydroxide ion, right? Through a process called hydrolysis. Okay, photolysis. So this one here, so far simple. And then this two here, right? They break down into hydrogen ion and also hydroxide ion, right? The main thing that we want to focus is this one here, hydroxide ion. Hydroxide ion, right, can actually break down into oxygen, water, and if you study chemistry, right, you know how to balance this. So for you to balance this, right, you put 4 here, you put 2 here, plus 4 electron. Okay. Now you will understand. So for this to go to here, right? Okay, this will become oxygen. Okay, this will become oxygen, right? But it will throw away an electron. It will throw away an electron to become basically it will throw away the electron. Right? That's all you need to know. Okay, that's all you need to know. But this one, I know it's confusing. I know the part I'm going to explain is confusing. Later there will be a simplified version. But just follow me first. Right? So the thylakoid, after it got these two here, it produce oxygen. That's the first thing you have to understand. It produce oxygen, thylakoid. And then there's NADP plus. Okay, NADP plus, right? If you accept electron from where? From this thing here. If you accept the electron, right, it become NADPH. NADPH. Okay, NADPH. Okay, this is known as reducing agent. Later I will explain why it's a reducing agent, but all you need to know is known as NADPH. Why? Why? Because NADPH, right? And oxygen, and oxygen. Sorry, and ADP, sorry, ATP, right? It would allow the carbon dioxide to undergo and become glucose. Okay, first of all, confusing as hell, right? That is very confusing. Now let's go to the next part here so that it's easier for you to see here. See a fun diagram here. I draw here. So look from left to right. So sunlight. Sunlight want to enter telecot. Can lah, right? Now this one here, what is this? This is water. It want to enter. But no, cannot. Why? Because it got breakdown. So it got rejected lah. That's all you need to know, right? So and then it rejected. There's a lot of process here, and all you need to know, it produce oxygen. Okay, oxygen. Now after the first process here, there is a second process. This thing here, known as ATP. This is ATP, ATP, also known as energy, energy. This one here is NADPH, NADPH. This, both of this, right, both of this will combine in the stroma, right, and also with the carbon dioxide to form, what is this? This is glucose. See, it look confusing, but it's not confusing. So go one by one. Basically, the way to do it, go one by one. And if you want to explain why is this, right? So NADPH, right? Just now I said it's a reducing agent, right? Why? It helped the carbon dioxide here to reduce and become glucose. That's all. To reduce into become the five. I don't know in the textbook it's very confusing, right? But all you need to know is a reducing agent. That's why I draw like this. This is a guard, a guard. And then this is the electron. This is the electron. All of them are going there. Okay. So just in case you are still confused, let's do it together. Just one more time. One more time. So light dependent, right? There is it happened where? In the thylakoid, right? Thylakoid. Thylakoid looks like this, right? Thylakoid look like this. Now, thylakoid. What will be the first thing that will be there? First of all, sunlight. Okay, there will be sunlight. So sunlight will be accepted. Okay, and then you also need water, right? So there's going to be like water here. Okay, water. But water want to be here, right? But suddenly it got rejected. Now you have to break down. You also sad lah, right? Water will break down to become what? H plus ion and OH minus ion. This one will break down to become like this. Okay, and then the OH ion, it will produce. I'm gonna skip the thing, right? It will produce oxygen. Okay, so far understand? Understand so far? You just need sunlight and water first. Understand? Say yes or no. It will happen in the thylakoid. Now, the thing that will produce, right, is oxygen, right? But that will be the thing later, right? Now you have to think of two different things now. ATP, ATP also known as energy, right? Energy. Just now I draw ATP as what? Like this, right? It's a pentagon, I think. Yeah, it's a pentagon based on my one. No, lah, it's not pentagon. I made down. Oh yeah, like this. Okay, I draw opposite lah, right? So that is okay, yeah. This is ATP. Okay, ATP. ATP is energy. Okay, ATP is energy. And then there's also gonna be an ADPH. ADPH. Okay, and ADPH. These two here, right? These two here is produced from here. Okay, it's produced from here. And then these two will be affected in the next process. The next process is known as light independent. Okay, light independent. Light independent happen at where? The stroma. Okay, the stroma. I don't know how to draw stroma. Stroma is just a circle, I guess. Right, circle. Okay, and then you can imagine what we have just now. We have sun. Okay, and then we have water. Photosynthesis need what? Carbon dioxide lah. So the carbon dioxide will finally be here. Okay, CO2. Will probably finally be here. And then all of these three combine here. All of these three combine here, right? If you add NADPH and also energy, you will get glucose. Okay, glucose. Also known as starch. Okay. Tada. That is the process. Very simple. Very simple. Don't get confused. The first thing you have to understand is the sun and the water first. Okay, the sun and the water first into the thylakoid. And then it will produce ATP and NADPH. And then the carbon dioxide will be involved to produce glucose. That's all. You understand? Very simple. Very simple. Okay. Now I'm going to continue. Okay. I'm going to continue. Now, we learn the light dependent and light independent, right? So light independent, remember light dependent will produce ATP, right? Remember, it produce ATP, and then light independent they will use the ATP, right? Common sense, right? And then the other thing that you have to understand, this is the difference, right? Comparison, right? So yeah, the other thing you have to understand, there will be a photolysis. Photolysis. What is photolysis again? Photolysis is when water, right? Water break down into hydrogen ion then or hydroxide ion. That's the photolysis. Okay, photolysis. And then it take place in chloroplast. Take place in chloroplast. Just now I said it take place in chloroplast. Didn't I say just now, right? It's only for thylakoid. No, you are wrong. Because why? We are talking about photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis need what? Chloroplast, right? That means thylakoid. Uh, thylakoid is the site. Is the site. And thylakoid contains chloroplast. That's the keyword here. Contains chloroplast. See, that's why I said this is the same thing as cytoplasm. If you remember, cytoplasm is the site of reaction as well in the animal cell. So you can think of sorry, not this one. I mean stroma for the stroma one, right? Now they involve a reduction of carbon dioxide for the light independent. What is the reduction of carbon dioxide? I also don't know. I also don't know. But all you need to know, this one here is not that important based on what I know, lah, right? And they use ATP. Remember, they use ATP in the stroma. Tada, very simple. Now the factors. Just now we learned the factors for transpiration, right? Right, we learned the factor for transpiration. Let's recap again. For transpiration, what is the thing that we learned? Transpiration factor. Right, there's four. So the first thing we learned, light intensity. Right, don't forget the higher is the one, right? Light intensity. The second thing we learned is the air humidity. You should memorize this. The third thing we learned is the temperature. The last thing we learn is the air movement. Okay, don't worry. The more you memorize, the more you can actually understand all of this. Now there's a different factor now. Different factor for what? Photosynthesis. So photosynthesis, there are three factors or two or three. Oh, there's two. Okay, there's two. So the factor is carbon dioxide concentration and also light intensity. This one is the same concept as well. There's the same concept. All you need to know, right? All you need to know, carbon dioxide, right? You need carbon dioxide, right? Right? Remember photosynthesis, you need carbon dioxide, right? So imagine if you have carbon dioxide, right, in a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, this one have to be 30 degree, right? 30 Celsius, right? In the highlight, why do I mention highlight? Okay, because if you have highlight, you can go higher. But if you have low light, you will be short. Why? Why? Because, right? Because we are limited by the light intensity. Just now we learned light intensity. Right? Light intensity. We learned transpiration. Right? Transpiration. So the higher it is, right? The at low light, right? At low light. Sorry. I'm so dumb. No, don't include this one. Don't include this one. No, don't think of that one. Don't think of that. All you need to know, low light, there's low amount of carbon dioxide. That's all you need to know. That's all. And then at light intensity, okay, light intensity, at some point, they will be limited by a lot of temperature, a lot of factor as well, like temperature and carbon dioxide concentration. That's all. And tada. That's all with chapter 2. Chapter 2 very easy, and don't get confused. The thing that people forget sometimes forget right? This one here, you have to understand how the structure look like. Okay, how the structure look like. You have to focus on photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. And then this one here, how does the stoma open? In two different conditions. Okay, two different conditions. And you have to remember is the solute potential. If the solute potential is higher, the water potential will be lower. If the solute potential is lower, the water potential is higher. Just reversible. Okay, vice versa. Okay, and of course the opposite happen as well, right? And the two situation that will happen is when there is light and where there is no light. There is no light. Okay, that's the two situation. Of course, this is both the same. This is both the same. Of course, but this one is the opposite one, right? Transpiration, we learn that is evaporation. Okay, evaporation, but in the form of water vapor, and the factor that affect the transpiration. And photosynthesis, we learn the leaf already. Yeah, we already learned this leaf, right? And we use common sense to find out the function. Okay, and then the structure of chloroplast and the light independent and the light independent. Okay, that's all. Do you understand so far? This class, is it understandable at least? My job, my job is not to make you memorize. I mean, if you understand, it's better lah for you to memorize. My job is to make you understand. Do you understand what I taught today? Yep, you understand, right? So that's all for today. Very simple, actually, right? Very simple. That's all for today.